Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I'm here to take you through an interesting topic that I think the Black community specifically is going to have a good time really focusing on this one. It's soap operas. Yes, it's soap opera week here on Recap Kickback. Obviously, obviously, we have a new soap opera to talk about, Beyond the Gates, and I wanted to make sure that we all got to kind of share our experiences about soap operas. So, of course, with me, per usual, my co-host, who has not been recasted, Mari. Welcome back.
Hi, Chappelle. I'm glad to be back. So glad we're talking soap operas. Now that recasting, you just said that. Now I'm scared because now I gotta figure out who's getting
Oh no,
recasted.
I
Oh
got the
no.
I got the information. No
Oh
worries. Don't you look it up.
no.
And
I won't. I
I'm
won't.
just
I
now
won't.
getting used to them. They can't
uh
change
well
it.
Well, we got a surprise guest as well. She said she was coming for a job interview. Turns out her dad is the mom of the dad and the cousin and the brother and the sister. It's Camille.
Mhm.
It's Camille. What's up, being
Hey,
Camille AF? Welcome
hey,
back.
you know what? Every time we do this, I remember that I didn't think of anything to say until you actually start talking to me. Every single time I'm
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
oh, I ain't thinking nothing. So,
Yeah.
hi, thank you so much for having me back. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem. I'm very excited because you're still the friend that smells like weed, according to your
hmm
headline. So
Yep,
that's always
haven't changed
fun.
that. Yep.
But Camille, we were thinking like Mari's like, oh yeah, we want to talk about Beyond the Gates. I was like, we could talk about soap opera. Like Mari had a whole bunch of plans for soap opera week. We've been talking about a lot of Tyler Perry, and so we was all like, okay, we need to bring in a third person so we can really just share our experiences with soap operas and really get into the first week and maybe then some of Beyond the Gates. And so very happy to have you here, and happy to have all you listeners here. Not that many of y'all, trust me, but we're a tight knit group, y'all. we're,
We love
we're
y'all though.
we're a family. You know what I'm saying?
We love y'all.
Yeah, we love y'all. Thank y'all for holding it down. Thank y'all for subscribing.
Yep.
Listen, if you watch this on YouTube, go subscribe on the podcast feed. Trust me on this one. We need that. We need that them clicks. We need that likes. We need them engagements. Okay, so go shoot us a subscribe. Recapkickback.com/subscribe and show us some love over there. Some 5-star reviews wouldn't hurt if y'all are catching my drift. So get on that and then make sure you show some love and share the podcast with your friends. Mari, we got
Yeah.
a soap opera on our hands. We have Beyond the
Uh,
Gates. It's Black and it's on
yeah.
daytime television. This
Mm.
is the first of its kind, Mari.
Yeah, well, technically the second
You
of
second?
its kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from 1989 to 1991, the soap opera Generations was
hmm
Mm.
technically the first Black soap opera. It starred Vivica A. Fox and our friend Debbie Morgan, our friend in our heads. Um,
Yes.
but it's kind of being disputed because some people say Generations might not have been the first Black soap opera. Like it did have a Black family, but it also had a white family. So
hmm
like they're saying that this Beyond the Gates, this is the first predominantly Black soap opera.
hmm
And honestly, you know what? I'll give it to them. I agree. Like when white people show up in this, I'm like, oh snap! Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Good one. Yeah. Look, and we're
so
happy to have them.
yeah,
They're fun.
they're here. We're happy. It's good. It's nice. It's cool. so
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been having a blast watching Beyond the Gate so much. I'm like telling Chappelle like we gotta talk about it. Been talking about it with all my friends. Got my family on it. Like I'm not even a soap opera person. I This will officially be my first soap opera. But it's
Really?
something about watching a soap opera from the start
hmm
that,
Yeah.
because with soaps, you never know how long they're gonna go. You don't know if they're gonna go 2 years, like Generations, or if they're gonna go 20 plus, General Hospital, All My
hmm
Children,
hmm
whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
hmm
kind of being in on the ground floor is kind of like fun because like soap operas are the backbone of TV. You don't have to watch them to know what the tropes are, or
hmm
when someone enters stage right, you're like, oh, they about to fuck some shit up. Like
hmm
you. It's just fun. It's fun watching. It's the same mode you get in for Tyler Perry movies. It's like the acting might not be all that great. The storylines might be over the top, but guess what? I'm gonna sit here and cackle, and I'm gonna
hmm
yell, "Girl, don't you do that!" And it's gonna
Yeah.
be fun.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I was yelling at the screen a lot.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about this months ago, like coming soon, Beyond the Gates. And so when it came, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then Mari's like, okay, so I watched Beyond the Gates. You got to go check it out. And as I did, I was quickly like, yeah, we're back in soap opera territory. This takes me back. Camille, you have a background watching soap operas, I'm assuming?
I do. So my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom when I was little, and so her stories was like we could not
The
miss
soap,
them stories.
right?
Yeah, and
Exactly.
then when I got a little older in the summertime, I remember my best friend, that's how we became best friends, was watching Days of Our Lives in the summer, because I was only allowed to be like at her house or she could only be at mine. And so like we just got in this habit of watching Days of Our Lives every day in the summertime. So, and I'd still go back to it for a good 10 years after that. Like after I was even a grown adult, I'd like still check in to see how things are going, who's still characters there, all that good stuff. I did watch Generations a little bit when it first came out. To me, I didn't get an overall feeling of it being more of a Black soap opera than it being just obviously more diverse and geared towards a younger audience. That's kind of the more I got. It was more so like they wanted to get the young kids that were watching it interested in something else. It's kind of like targeted at me that age, because I was getting away from the other, you know what I'm saying? So it's giving me something to like get interested in. But I do remember Generations. This also reminded me of shows like The OC. And
I was just gonna say Beverly
like
Hills
for
me.
Yes. Beverly Hills 90210. It reminded me of all those types of shows.
Yeah, it's very comforting knowing that at a certain time every day a story is gonna come on, and it's gonna be, and it's coming. It's prolonged. It's constant and steady, and that's why, like when I was in high school, that's what like Beverly Hills 90210 used to play on. I think it was Lifetime every day, like after school, and I literally watched the whole like 10-year run that way. But I grew up with my auntie, with my TT. She's only 15 years older than me. She's been one of my caretakers because her and my mom are so close. And when I went to spend the summer, I spent literally one summer in Florida with my TT and my grandma, because I told my mom never again. Even though it was the same summer with South Park that I watched South Park.
Yeah, you got corrupted that summer.
Corrupted. And then my TT worked, so she recorded all of her stories, and I asked her for this. I was like, what were your stories? She said, All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital.
The big ABC3.
She had all of the VHSs. I'm like, there's no way you could watch it. Like, what are you watching? and that would be it. She would come home and she would pop one in, and I would never watch it. Never. I never. That's why I said don't send me back there, because I had no control over the TV. So it's so funny like how soaps have really dominated the Black community when this is the first soap that's predominantly Black.
Oh yeah. I have a very similar background with soaps as well, where you like basically if you're ever at home alone during the day, you have to watch soap operas if you're staying with an older relative. That was just kind of the reality that I had, right? So I remember during the summertime, I'd come to visit my grandma, and I would stay with my granny or my daddy. Well, I'll stay with my dad, and he would like work overnight. So I would go to my granny house every day. I would just be over there. But I was the favorite. Okay. I was the youngest grandchild, so I could just do what I wanted. She just let me chill. I got to kick it. But my granny, she's chill like me. My granny is very much like me. When her shows come on, when her stories come on, no games. Okay. So we sit down, we watch the stories, we shut up. Okay. So every day, like clockwork. Okay. I would hear that damn Mary J. Blige tune, what is it? Not As the World Turns, but the damn Young and the Restless theme song, yeah. And I would hear that song, and I knew that song like in the back, like I can hear that song in my sleep. My grandma watched that show so much. It got so real that if my granny ever had to leave, she would send me next door to the next door neighbor's house, and I would go watch the stories with her. Just like, hey, Yeah, because it was like, all right, I'm about to go, or something would happen. She's like, okay, go to Miss Mosel's house. I'm like, all right, Miss Moselle, come up, let me in. And what we do, sit down and watch the stories. Okay, so I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. I really wish I could say that I hadn't seen as much soap operas as I have, but I have, y'all. My mom got into soap operas. My mama and my granny didn't even watch the same soap operas, so you had to get the CBS shows from my grandma. But then my mama was about them ABC Big Three. Okay, you know, General Hospital, One Life to Live, all my children. You know, that was her. I remember being in the line, you know, the checkout line in the grocery store. I'm really about to age myself. And then my mom would grab the Soaps Digest so she could catch up on the week if she missed anything. She would just thumb through the page, like, girl, what did Vicky do again? She got another split personality. Like, that would happen. So, no, I remember these vividly. I think when we got digital cable, there was a soap opera channel, and it was just like, boom, all soap operas all the time. So, yeah, this took me way back watching Beyond the Gates. But you're right, Mari.
Yep.
There hasn't been the most especially not positive, but the most like diverse cast when it comes to Black people on these soap operas, yet they still seemingly had the Black households in a chokehold. I'm pretty sure my grandma like thinks Victor Newman is related to us. Like, I'm pretty sure that like she's decided that like that's an actual real life person in our family, you know? So it's just like, I don't know. For me, it felt so special going back and watching Beyond the Gates because it really put me back in a time and place. I have a question though. What is the difference between a soap opera and those other shows that you're talking about, Mari, like Beverly Hills 90210 or the OC, or even like Grey's Anatomy, right? It's a hospital show, but it's basically a soap opera, right? So what's the difference? Is it just that it doesn't come on every day?
That's what I was wondering too. I was like, is it a way that they shoot it? Is it like just the dailiness of it all? Camille, do you know?
I want to say soap is actually like short for something else. But it's like for like it is because it's like a daily, because if you think about like streamers that they have to keep streaming like every day to maintain that audience, and so soap operas gave them like that constant daily story of something they felt they had to keep up with. And so I want to say it stood for, I could be making it up, my name says a lot, but
I'd seen online, Camille, that like it was like the early days of radio and TV when soap companies like Procter and Gamble would sponsor the dramas. They would sponsor them as a way to market themselves, and so then it became like soap operas, and it became a thing.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah. It's a very specific style of show as well, Camille.
So it's it seems like it's a daily, and they don't spend as much on production, and they don't, you know what I'm saying? It isn't, whereas the other places they'll still spend a bunch of money and they'll send them on location. And the sets aren't as extravagant on soap operas because they have to learn those lines every single day and have to get, you know, it's a new thing for them every single day. So they have to make it as consistent as they possibly can with being different every day.
To a search engine, not AI. Key characteristics of a soap opera is continuous storylines. Soap operas feature ongoing narratives that span weeks, months, or even years, with each episode building upon the previous ones. I'm not gonna lie, watching this first like week of Beyond the Gates, it really was making me think like, oh my god, they can do so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, I can't wait to just keep watching because there's so many things they can build upon, like the stuff that they were doing in week one. An open-ended format, unlike traditional series with definite seasons and storylines, soap operas are designed to continue indefinitely. They are emotional and melodramatic. Soap operas are known for their heightened emotions, dramatic twists, and often melodramatic storylines. Focus on relationships. A central theme of soap operas is the exploration of relationships, both romantic and familial. And then finally, cliffhangers. Soap operas often use cliffhangers at the end of episodes to keep viewers hooked and encourage them to tune in for the next installment. But so, and that's amazing. I think that explains it all. But our soap operas, like, they're filmed on soundstage. They really have like a play type feel to me. Is there a different way in how they're shot? Do we know?
Gotta be, right? This is not like,
Right.
a lot of times it's not like multicam, like a
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy type thing. It's like they're standing
Right.
in it's almost like a bottle episode of everything, right? Like you put these
Mhm.
people are in this scene, they sit here, and the cameras are right
Mhm.
next to them, and you watch them. You don't get a lot of the background drama going on. You don't get a lot of like different things
Right.
happening that are kind of off screen. It's always very focused on, the cast. And I like that because the acting in soap operas is so over the top, right? The
It's so
facial
good.
expressions are so big. It's just,
Yeah.
it does remind you of being in a theater where you have to perform to the back of the audience. And I don't really know why that is, like stylistically, but once you understand that that's just how this is, you stop looking at this like, hey, this acting isn't good. And you just start to like, but go in for it. Like if
Yep.
they're upset, they're mad. If they're sad, they're distraught. Like it's not, there's no middle ground in soap opera. There's no subtlety, Camille. It's just,
No.
it's all out there in front of you.
No
Yeah.
subtlety at all. I wanted to ask you, so as we were being introduced to the characters, did you say to yourself, okay, there's the connection to the hospital and there's the connection to the police office? Did you, as soon
Yeah.
as it came up, you're like, okay, that's where that's going. That's where that's going. All the
Mhm.
setups of all the things, like you said, it's interesting to see how the story is going to go along after
Mhm.
watching this first week of it. But watching everything, just the setup of all those little things that are key soap opera things that you have to have, because you have to have a detective, you
You
have to
got
have a
to.
doctor, you have to have these things to make the
Mhm.
stories work.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
And
that
it's
Yeah.
was
like
really fun.
certain characters just live in certain settings. Like you'll never
Yep.
see Shane outside of that hospital. Let's be real. Like she gonna stay there and she gonna
Yep.
gossip her head off. It's like, so it's very interesting. And it's so fun. It's so fun, like especially the first week, right? So you get all these connections of these characters, and then like halfway through episode 5, there's the other person. Hey, I just came from Paris. I'm here. I'm your best friend. You're like, wait, what?
It's me, your maid of honor. It's like, oh girl, where you been? When the best friend shows up to when Danny's best friend shows up at the wedding and says, I'm your
Like,
best
who
friend,
are
girl. I would never
you?
let you. I was like, you have not been here all week for this woman. And now you show up at the wedding like, it's me, your
Episode
favorite.
5.
Episode 5. Oh my God. I'm glad we're
Oh,
thinking
so
it
good.
too. You're right though. They introduce the characters so abruptly, and you just have to pick up very quickly, like, this is who this person is related to, because very quickly that person is going to have their own storyline, and it's always a web, right? It's like we
Yeah.
have 25 people, and they have to all interact in some way. You might not ever get a one-on-one with this person, but this person is related to this person who is the brother of this person who worked for this person. They're always going to be very intertwined in a tight-knit community or something like that. And in this community, it just happens to be a predominantly Black community in your area, Mari, right?
Yeah, buddy. So Beyond the Gates follows a family, the Dupree family. They are a fictional, influential family in a gated community called Fairmont Crest. It really is like a kind of like a hearken or like a call or a reference to PG County, like Prince George's County here in Maryland, and a little bit of Montgomery County. Is like they're the richest Black counties in the United States. And so we have a lot of like very affluent Black people in this area, in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and a lot of gated communities. So I love, of course, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I started watching. I was like, Black people, DC, my neighborhood, yes. And it is very PG. Like, yes. It's like, especially in those first few episodes when it was like the people who don't live in Fairmont Crest talking about the Fairmont Crest people, very like, rich man, poor man. So yeah, it's set in a fictional gated community in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Yeah. And in this community, let's just get on with the cast so we can talk about the plot. Let's start, and I don't know why we're starting with Vernon, because he's not my favorite character. Because I just, it's something about Vernon. Okay. It's just something about him that just, it's, I don't know. I think it's because the show is constantly telling us that this is a righteous man. He stood up for civil rights and all this other stuff. His grandson is so, or is it his nephew or his grandson who's so far
His
up his
grandson.
ass? his grandson is so far up this man's ass. Like, Grandpa, I would love to be just the freedom fighter that you were in your day, back in my day. It's like every episode, he is just letting us know that Vernon Dupree is that guy, right? He's very humble, it's a generous man or whatever, but we also see that there's an edge to him because, we get a couple episodes in and Vernon's almost spotless until we find out that there's a little something going on in the past. And we know in these shows, Camille, the patriarch of the family and the matriarch, they're the ones always trying to keep the past secrets of the family at bay.
Always they done had so many extramarital affairs and kids be popping out, and that's how they introduce new cousins, and it's all because of the matriarch and the patriarch of the family.
Yes, and Vernon Dupree, believe it is like his grandfather or his father, whatever. They're the ones who like founded Fairmont Crest and started Fairmont Crest, and so the Dupree family run Fairmont Crest. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody pays deference to them. They are untouchable, spotless in reputation. So that's where most of the storylines center around.
Yeah. Tamara Tooney from Law and Order. I love this lady. I'm sorry. I've seen her too much on Law and Order. I feel like this is like, hey, auntie, like I really felt like when she popped up on the screen, like, these my people, thank God. Yeah, I know her. That's my homegirl. Like, I know her. Yeah. So when she pops up, I'm like, oh my God. I love that not only is she a character, but she is the matriarch of this family. She is one of the main characters. She's a former singer from back in the day. And now she's like, has like this whole successful family. She obviously was married to Vernon, who is a former senator. She's got these 2 daughters, and she's the one who's really like fiercely keeping the family together with this like icy blonde, gray. It's so player.
Oh, it looks so good on her. Like,
loved it.
It's like you don't want to mess with her. Like, look at that,
exactly.
Look at that silver hair. Like, don't mess with her.
Yeah, Camille, what did you think about her as the matriarch?
So she's the one. We were talking earlier, and I was saying that my dad's side of the family is actually really light skinned, like this family, and I have an aunt named Anita, and that's this character's name. So every time they said her name, and I just came from seeing them just recently. So but I really really loved her character. She plays that part perfectly, in my opinion. Like she does over the top very well and very classy
and very subtle.
Yeah.
Well, subtle for a soap, right? She's good. She's good. I really wish I had seen her on more television shows than just Law and Order, right? Because now I feel like I've been robbed. Like, I really wish maybe she's been on a lot of stuff and I just haven't seen her, and I only know her from Law and Order. But she's one of the hooks that really made me stay and keep watching the show because I was really enjoying her character. On the screen, we have Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson, and through 4-ish episodes, I was like, okay, Nicole, she seemed to have it all together, XYZ.
Yes.
But by episode 5, Mari, my mouth hits the floor. I'm sorry. You got this woman and her mom infiltrating Nicole's family because this is your father and this is your real mom. I was like, wait. So how did we get here?
I love so Nicole. I'm pretty sure her last name is Richardson. I believe. Scroll down for a little. Yeah, Nicole Richardson. Yeah, she's a Dupree, but she married Ted Richardson, who is a doctor at the aforementioned hospital we talked about. And I love Nicole's character because she's a psychologist. She is that character that's The Rock. She's the character that like, oh, this is the character that has it all. She has all her ish together. She's the one that the family leans on. And you're like, oh, look at her. She has the perfect husband. She has 2 perfect kids, right? Yeah, because Martin's her son. And I can't remember her daughter's name to save my life. But she is
Catherine.
Like everything. Cat. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. I had to guess that way, but yeah, Cat.
Yep. and it's like their family is so perfect. Her office is perfect. Her assistants are so funny and nice. Like she has it all. And then the dramatic twist, somebody's coming to take it all from her, and you're like, yeah. You're like, no. You're like, don't do that. But it's like, yeah. Some drama's about to happen. Camille, what did you think about? Should we talk about? Like, I don't even know how, because this is a big plot point.
Yeah, go ahead, Camille. What'd you think?
So the plot point itself, I'm like looking at my notes because I don't remember what
Leslie and Eva. It's Leslie and Eva.
Oh yeah. No, okay. So I actually ruined this for myself.
Oh no.
When I was on the CBS. No, well, when I was on the CBS website, when I was first starting to watch the show, it was on episode 18 and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I clicked on it and I saw and I'm like, why did it start like this? And I was like, wait, this isn't the first episode. And so I saw, the only thing I saw was them talking and they revealed that thing. And so from the moment that I saw them, I knew what was going to happen. So I spoiled it for myself.
My auntie did. My auntie did the exact same thing.
Oh,
because the way the way CBS is set up, as soon as you click on it, like it should be episode 1, but it's the most recent episode, but you gotta like scroll all the way down.
They don't want you to have to do that. You know, like if it's a soap opera, Mari, people jump into soap operas 4 years in the game. Then nobody is going back. Like, listen, nobody is going back right now to watch episode 1 of Young and the Restless. You know, like there's no point.
When I tell you my TT called me and was like, I can't get this thing to happen. Why would they start on episode 18? I want to start on episode 1. I had to literally sit there and while I was driving, I was hands-free, don't worry. Like walk her through how to work Paramount Plus. I was like, did you just scroll? Did you hit the down button?
Did you scroll to the bottom? Yeah. Look, yes. I know we want to get into this storyline, but we have to talk about Ted. This is Nicole's. This is Nicole's husband, Ted, and he's a big part of this plot line as well because, as we know, these two women are plotting to take him down. Apparently, he has an illegitimate child that we are finding out who's trying to infiltrate their household. But Mari, this actor here, Maurice Johnson, will no longer be playing the role of Ted. Famously in soap operas, you get a lot of recasting. People die, people come back as different characters, different people play these characters. And I want you to see who is going to be the new Ted Richardson, because I got a kick out of this. The new Ted Richardson will be played by hold on, that's the old Ted Richardson. Let me see. Where's the new Ted Richardson? You know, now I'm like a TT, like, how I get this thing to work? How I get this thing to work? But yeah, the new Ted Richardson will be played by Keith D. Robinson. Mari, does that name mean anything to you?
This sounds very familiar.
All right, I'm about to put him up on the screen. Keith D. Robinson is, I think, best known from his role as his role in the movie Dreamgirls. We all got pain. Yeah, it's her brother. Yeah, so he's the new Ted. Apparently, I was reading the soaps online. You know, I was in the threads, I was in the chat rooms, and people were saying that they highly suspected that this person. There would be a recast because original Ted wasn't giving the audience what they wanted. And so now, it looks like the people were ready for a recast. And now we got Keith D. Robinson as the new Ted.
So when you tease a recast, I was like, as long as they don't touch Danny, It's like
no, she can't go nowhere. No, she's a star. She can't go nowhere. No.
So when you said Ted, I was like, okay, because he really hasn't been given what's supposed to be gave.
You're like, I see the vision. I see the recast. I don't hate it.
Like he hasn't. Like it's kind of funny how like a whole really interesting storyline revolves around him, but we haven't gotten a lot of him. Like the only thing we've been shown of him really is a doting family man, and that actor looks the part. Now Keith D. Robinson coming in here. Now I'm like,
because we all got pain.
Now I'm kind of like, whatever they said he did that shit. I don't know. He looks like he can do whatever they said they did. I don't know.
He do.
I disagree. Every time I look at him, I just picture him like, this time you know what you done. Like he was telling you kind of cool and effing. Like that's why I'm like,
he was wrong too.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was a little wrong. I mean, she was doing a lot. Okay, Effie was tripping. So I'm gonna save hope for Keith D. Robinson as the new Ted. But yeah, that's the cliffhanger we leave off on. The thing about soap operas is every episode is basically a cliffhanger, but when you get to the Friday episode, Mari, I know we just discussed this off air, but I think it's valuable conversation for our listeners. The Friday episode is the big bang. That's when everything happens because they got to leave you with 2 days to kind of mull it over and stew about it and call your homegirls on the phone and then schedule a podcast about it too. You know,
that's so because episode 5, I was literally watching it and I was texting Gina, who, by the way, my best friend, is a big soap opera fan. And we were talking about soap operas at brunch. Like, I meant to get a speak pipe from her, but I forgot. But like, I was like, no, Danny did it. What is she doing? This is embarrassing. Is she not embarrassed? Like, in the whole episode, like episode 5, like, that was good. I don't know. We got to keep. There's so many. I don't even know how we're gonna get through all these storylines.
Yeah.
No, and it's a soap opera. It's not about to get through all the storylines. We just got to talk about the big ones. We got to talk about the big ones. Let's get to the main storyline. We got to talk about Danny. Danny had me screaming at the television because she is almost like our leading lady in this. You know, we talked about the matriarch and the patriarch of the family, but she is the center of the most drama right now because when we start our show, I'm looking for the picture. When we start the show, god dang. So when we start the show, Danny is already in the midst of a divorce and it's a messy divorce, Mari. Could you give us the rundown while I get the picture pulled up?
Thank you, because everybody want to see the picture. So
they gotta find a picture. Yeah.
When we enter, we're kind of finding out through Anita and Nicole talking that like Danny is the youngest of the 2 Dupree women who end up getting married, and Danny gets married to Bill. What was his last name? Hamilton. Mm-hmm. And they're married for like 30 years almost or something like that.
A long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Bill, when we come in, when Danny is introduced, Danny is throwing a mug against the wall because
classic soap opera trope. Throwing something at the wall and watching it break. That's the soap opera for you.
Exactly. And because she learns that her ex-husband, Bill Hamilton, is getting married to the woman he cheated on her with and left her for a younger woman. And he's getting married at their country club, and their country club is the center of their gated community. And so she's angry. She's upset. This is how we're introduced to Danny. And they're like, she's the emotional one. And by golly, is she the emotional
Yes.
I don't know who this actress is, but I love her. Camille, please tell me Danny's your favorite, right?
She is. The first scene, I was like, oh, this is a soap opera. Like the muscle memory started coming back. Like, oh, I forgot that it's like this. But she's so amazing. she has the chin quiver. She has the, just the
expressive eyes.
The eyes. She killing it.
Very expressive. Yes. Oh, but I feel so bad for her. Like her actual story is a little effed up. It's a little effed up. Every time you want to say, okay, she's being over the top, you think about what she's really going through, and you're like, I get it though.
I kind of understand.
She slapped so girl in the first episode, I believe it is.
And so girl Haley, she deserved it. You deserve to get slapped. I said, get her again. Why did it take you this long?
Get her for me.
Get her for me.
I looked at my notes. I said when the mom Anita walked by, I was like, she should have flinched.
Yeah. That's real, man. This lady Haley. I don't think I have a picture of Haley. Or if I don't, I'm trying to get to it because we got the Richardson family, obviously. But Haley is an interesting character because she is like as Mari said, she's the other woman, right? She was brought into the family almost like a surrogate member of the family, and then as they say in soul food, Faith fucked my husband. You know, like
Girl.
she did somehow.
Mhm.
Bill and Haley just magically, and from their perspective, they act like it was some whirlwind romance that happened while he was married. They're just like, I mean, what do you want from us? We fell in love. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just don't know why people don't support us. Her character is the most annoying character on the show by far because she act like she don't know what she did. Haley, would you want this woman in your Haley, if you was her, how would you feel about you living in this lady community, trying to be a part of the family, forcing the family, Mari, to come to the wedding?
Yes.
It made
Because you want it to be full.
Yeah.
Like, why would you agree to any of this? First off, it's like, oh, she's like, I always wanted to have my wedding in this exclusive country club. Okay, girl, sure, whatever. But then y'all buy a house in the community. Like, it's just like, I don't understand why everybody's so mad that we're living here. Girl, why would we want you to live in this community that everybody backs Danny? Why would you want to live in this community? Like, why would you want to do this to yourself? And then, like you said, she's so upset. She's like, I want people to be at my wedding, so much so that Bill flexes his muscle and basically threatens Vernon Dupree, the patriarch, and be like, y'all need to come to the wedding. Why would you want your ex-husband's ex-family at your wedding? Why?
Yeah, she shouldn't want this. I have to talk. We got to talk about Bill because Bill is a part of one of my favorite scenes of television because I love a scene that makes me mad, right?
Oh,
and Bill pissed me off in the best way because at some point, Danny has tried it all, right? She's trying to convince herself, I gotta let this man go. I can't do this no more. I'm through. Like, it's just the way he just threw my family to the side. Like, but you can tell everyone's telling her to move on. Move on. They're getting married this week. Move on. You gotta move on with your life. But she wants to be mad. She wants to stew over it. She wants everybody to be mad with her. Everybody talks to her. She's like, nah, I'm still mad. I need my revenge. I need my revenge. She hits her lowest point where she goes to Bill's office, corners him, and says, Bill, okay, listen, I know I said that you were the worst person in the world, and I know I slapped your new fiance and all that kind of stuff, and I've been tripping, but like, what if we just got back together anyway, huh? What about that? I said, I'm sorry. I'm yelling at the screen. I'm like, Daddy, stand up and walk. What are you doing? Bill, I'm sorry. He did what I needed him to do. He needed to shake that woman back into her senses. Lady, this is pathetic. This is sad. You look desperate. Get out. And
that to her face too.
But she needed to hear it, Mari. You didn't think she had lost her damn mind when she went in there throwing herself at this man's feet?
I did. I was like, girl, come on. But then again, like when they met, she was very young and she was a model. She was a fashion model. He was an up and coming lawyer. And they got together and she literally gave up her whole entire life for him, you know, till his oldest time. Like, she stopped modeling, she stopped everything to raise their kids. She used her connections, her dad and her family's connections, to get him top clients, to build him up to be this great lawyer in this area. And then, of course, 30 years later or whatever, he drops her for a younger model. It's like that's the button. Like, that's the button. You want all the women to be engaged and in your soap opera and mad, and like, this is what you push. And for her to be that desperate, and for him to do that whole monologue where he starts off really nice and then he calls her desperate and pathetic to her face, and you're like, and it gave me the same thing too. I was like, oh, so Bill is the big bad, because we all know soap operas have that big bad. And so I'm like, so is Bill the big bad? Like, he's shown flashes of being the big bad, but I kind of want him to be even badder. But maybe it's just the first week, so I need to be calm.
Camille, what about you? How'd you feel about Bill overall as our main villain?
I can't stand him. But reason being is because when my parents got divorced, my mom was kind of blindsided. So that's why I kept relating to Danny, because I was like, I mean, I get it, especially when you don't really see it coming. Like, I get it every time she got mad. So it kept bringing me back to that situation. Like, oh, why is he? But the thing, I couldn't understand why this man had the audacity to want to have the wedding and want to have the family there, and Haley wanting to make friends with everybody, and when she brought them cookies over to old girl's house, I almost fell out. I said no, she didn't come with some damn
how
cookies.
dare you?
Yeah,
how dare you come to my home? Are you
when
crazy?
I tell you, I'll flip all this shit over right now. What are you talking about?
I will beat everybody ass up in here. Are you crazy? Like, that's just, bruh, I was dying. I said, why did she go over there like this? Why is she, to me, Haley just feels so delusional. It's like she's wrapped up in this love story with Bill so much that she just doesn't understand how people don't support it. She's like, Bill and Danny, from her point of view, they wasn't even really just kicking it like that in their marriage. It was on the way out. Danny's in denial. She needs to give that up. But also, like, look at us. We're so happy. I'm living my dream. I finally have a family. I finally have a man that I love. And she's taken care of. Like, these people are filthy rich, you know? And so she's like, I did it. I just want my fairy tale wedding like everybody else. I'm like, most fairy tales don't start off with you stealing your family's husband, you know?
And that's another thing too. She is like, from what everybody says, she was not from a wealthy family. She was poor. She was like not taken care of. Like, she became friends with Bill's oldest daughter, Naomi, and that's how she wiggled her way into the house. We talked about it. Like, she was the oldest sister's best friend. And they took her under their wing. They made her an honorary family member because from all intents and purposes, she had nothing else.
Nobody.
And then she does this. And then you expect them to be happy. She's like, one day we'll have to get, we'll have to get over it and be friends eventually. Girl, no, get out my face.
We'll actually never have to do that. We actually never will. So I'm sorry, but get the hell out. Yeah. She's so earnest about it too. Like, she legitimately is coming to these people like, hey, I know I ruined your sister's life, but like, like, no, it's not like, you can't just like side note that thing. And so she does end up saying that she wants, she was like, oh my God, I'm getting married, but it's kind of embarrassing that nobody's going to come to my wedding, right? Like, I'm getting married in a community that does not here. And I don't have a lot of friends and family. And all the people who are going to be at this wedding are basically Bill's employees. And so it's bad enough that she stole this man, but now it's also going to look like she stole this man because nobody's going to be there to support her. So she tells Bill, I need, it would be nice if I had people come. So Bill says, okay, I'll just go ask my family, the family that I basically ditched for this woman, to come to my wedding. Camille, they don't hit each other enough on this show. Somebody should punch them in the face. They don't.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, had my dad come to a member of my family and said, look, I want you to come to my new wife's wedding. Yo, that man wouldn't be alive right now.
Right,
the audacity of it.
The audacity.
Look, we needed time to get over that shit. I really, while that was happening, I was like, if they made me what? But the fact they all wore black, I loved it. I loved the pettiness that they got forced into being. I love that part. But I was just like that.
No, if you're listening to this and wondering, okay, they went to this man's wedding and they all wore black. Yeah, they did. They went to the wedding basically acting like it was a funeral. And when Here Comes the Bride starts and she walks down the aisle, you know how you stand for the bride? They didn't. So half the crowd is standing and half the crowd is sitting down, dressed like it's a funeral. And you would have to ask, why would these people even be that petty to go? What would make them actually go and attend this? Well, look no further than the grandson. He is we mentioned him earlier. His name is Martin Richardson, and he is always talking about how great his granddad Vernon is. He's into politics like him, but he's kind of like doing the whole his granddad was into almost peaceful demonstration, very Martin versus Malcolm type situation. He's like, well, how did y'all stand for this? He's one of those I am not my ancestors, kind of black. And well, that's what he's asking his granddad, at least. He's kind of just like, how are y'all able to do peace, when I just want to tear everything apart? So I don't know where this comes from, but when Bill goes to Vernon and basically says like, "Hey, I need y'all to be at the wedding," Vernon, of course, is flabbergasted. He does not understand why you would even come to this with him. And then Bill alludes to something that happened with his grandson. So, Mari, what exactly is Martin being accused of? Did he kill someone?
I don't know, but as soon as Bill said it, I was like, "Oh, so Martin pulled a Ted Kennedy. Which Kennedy left the girl?
One of the Kennedys.
One of them. I was like, he pulled
Mhm.
a something. He did. He killed somebody, and
He did.
and I clocked that he was gay. Like, as I was like, he gonna
Because
be
you
gay.
saw how he was sitting.
No, just because of how you could like the writing, like the way
Mhm.
the writing was. I was like, I just know it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
not the acting, not anything like homophobic like that. It was just like I knew where that writing was going because they
Mhm.
introduced all the spouses, they introduced everybody, but his spouse, like, it was a whole walk-in, like, "Hey, honey," and it was like, big reveal, he's married to a white
Right.
man. That's what I was mostly shocked about, I guess. But then I wasn't shocked. I was like shocked, but not shocked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like,
you know
it's
what
like
I'm saying?
the dear white people trope where it's like the freedom fighters be
Yeah.
the ones with the white spouse. Like it's kind of gave that
Yes,
same energy as well.
exactly.
But the thing is, Camille, in episode 5, at the wedding, we see this character and he walks up on his spouse and his spouse is on the phone saying something like, "Yeah, it just feels good to be loved and wanted. Like it feels good to be wanted." And he goes, "Hey, what's that call about?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. Do I have anything to be jealous about? Nope, nothing to be worried about." Immediately, I'm thinking, I know this ain't the Friday episode. It was. So now I gotta wait all weekend to find out what's going on. Do you Camille, you got to episode 7. Does it seem like his spouse might be sneaking around? Because the phone call seemed very obviously like he is.
I'm gonna assume it's probably something about their kids because for some reason they brought up the son going through something. So I assumed it was gonna be something that links to that. I didn't like this character that much until they got him to just agree with what's her face with Danny. Remember they were like she needs some support. She needs somebody that's gonna like back her up and agree with her. He's like, I'm on it. And from that point forward, that's when I started to like his character because I was like, he'll say anything. He'll agree with anything. He'll play whoever you need him to be. You just gotta ask. And I'm like, okay, the politician in him. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, because he's a U.S.
A congressman.
representative. Yeah. So I was like, and it seems like he's like a House representative, not like a state one, which I thought is kind of interesting that they started him there. But you know, in a few years, what if we see President Martin? But
right.
I thought that his character was a little flat until they introduced Smitty, his spouse. And Smitty, his spouse, I don't trust him. Now
I do trust him.
I don't trust him. Again, it's not because he's a white man, but he's
nobody
sneaky.
said
I don't know.
Insinuated that, Mari.
Nobody insinuated that. But I'm just saying, I don't trust it. And they have 2 adopted kids that are like 16, a boy and a girl.
Have we seen them?
Not yet. Not in the first week.
No.
They come later though.
Like I said, I've been in the message boards. We do have a casting announcement about them though. So they have been casted. So we know who's going to be playing them, but they have not yet made their on-screen appearance. But it's coming. It's coming. So the thing with Bill is that Bill says, "Hey, your grandson, he did a thing and I covered it up for you. I used my influence as the law basically and made it go away." And so because of that, Vernon, you're kind of in my back pocket. I need you to do what I want you to do and have your family show up to the funeral. Now, of course, they do show up. They are very, I'm sorry, whichever, depending on where you're sitting, a funeral or a wedding. They are very dramatic. They are there. And while they're there, Vernon tells him, "Yeah, this is it. We're not doing any more favors for you." And then Bill just reminds him again why they did this favor. He says, "Oh, yeah, you don't think it was a little overkill the way y'all are acting?" And it's like, so who's he kill? So you kill somebody, right? So you kill somebody, So it seems like, this Bill is our big bad because this very rich, affluent family that should be able to move on with their lives cannot, because Bill has ruined their lives and also kind of has them under his thumb as long as this news about the grandson doesn't come out. And so, yeah, this is typical soap opera mess, right? It'd be too easy for Danny to just walk away from this relationship. She has to be attached to it by just her loyalty to the family, not wanting the grandson to get, thrown under the bus, or to get the family, in trouble. And the matriarch of the family, she's the one she's very like Cookie Lyons, like I said, we all come into the wedding, we all come into the wedding, she's gonna keep everybody in line. So yeah, that's like our main drama throughout. We do get the big cliffhanger because we're watching Danny kind of deal with her 7 stages of grief or whatever, but it's not really grief. It's more like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm distraught. I don't believe it. And then it's like, okay, well, I need to let this go. But she never really lets it go. She's always plotting, always scheming. And after he turns down her advances, she goes to the closet, Camille, and she gets the little box. And I think anybody who's ever seen a soap opera knew exactly where this was going. It's a gun inside the box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect setup.
Perfect said it. She takes the gun to the wedding. And
when they say, does anybody have anything to say? What's the term at weddings?
Does anybody object to the
union?
She's like,
I
pulls up
She's pulled out the blicky. She had blackout.
That was so. I was like, girl, embarrassing. Like, what?
You have to kill everybody, because if you don't kill everybody, someone is going to tell the story, and you have to live with the fact that you tried to murder this man and this woman behind this marriage. Like, lady.
Oh,
so embarrassing. I did not watch after the clip. Like I said, that's the weekend episode. When we come back, Mara, you've seen episode 6. Camille, you've seen episode 6 and 7 as well. Did we catch a body? Is someone dead?
Nobody's dead, but except for I would have been. My soul would have left my body. That was so. It was just so embarrassing. Like, she pulls a gun on them, and like, if you're not gonna shoot, then why do you have this gun out here? Because she's like waving this gun around, telling them to do things. They're like, we're not doing that.
Wait, what? They just like ignored her.
No. So she was like, everybody's like, Danny, stop. Like, why are you pulling a gun out? She's like, because I want to ruin their day. They made my life miserable. And they're like, well, what are you gonna do? She's like, I want them to bow in front of me. And Bill's like, we're not doing that. Like,
lady, just kill me, because I'm not going to do that.
What pissed me off even more is Naomi, Danny's oldest daughter. Her husband is a cop. And
that part. I was just like, what is he? He should do something. He's a detective.
The most he did, he was like, Danny, we need to get these people out of here. She's like, they can go. I don't care. It's just, I just got smoke for them. And so he does get everybody out. And then he comes back in and he's like, I gotta take that away. And everybody's like, no, she just needs to be heard. Just let her go. And she proceeds to wave a gun at them while she monologues about how they've made her life miserable. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing.
Because now you have to leave and go home. Like nothing happened. Like, all right, well, I'm gonna go.
And then it was that typical, like, they fight over the gun, and the gun gets discharged, and you're like, oh, who's gonna die? Nobody. It was a flower arrangement that got shot. So
that's one thing that this soap opera was missing for me was commercials, because normally you got that whole damn commercial break. You're like, there was it wasn't a real commercial break. That's not missing for me. I'm glad I don't have commercial breaks. I guess when I get caught up, I will, but whatever.
So that's the big plot. That is the big overarching story of Beyond the Gates. But of course, it wouldn't be a soap opera if we didn't have little mini bosses inside, little mini tales as well. There's a nurse at the hospital who is being, pursued by one of the members of the family, and they end up in an elevator that gets stuck with a pregnant woman. Camille, I feel like we've seen this on soap operas before. This has to be a recurring storyline.
Has to. That's what the hospital's for. You have to do crazy
Having
shit
babies
in the hospital.
elevators?
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. And there has to be a pregnant woman. That woman was not pregnant when they walked in there. Like they walked in, they just looking at her from neck up, and then all of a sudden the elevator like freezes, and then they cut to her and she's like, I'm pregnant. I was like, I was like, they got me. They got me. Yeah.
And then she's just like, it's coming right now.
Now the elevator scared her through her pregnancy. Okay, scared her baby out. Mari, what's another storyline that stands out to you from this first? This is the first 5 days, y'all. We're talking about
5 days.
This show lasts a month, and that is 30 days of television, y'all. That is basically like 20 days of television, 20 episodes. We're in 5 at this point.
We're in 5. So what we kind of touched on earlier, Ted Richardson, who is being recasted with the guy from Teen Girls. There was a lingering, he was in the hospital. There's a lingering look from this older woman and her daughter. And I was immediately like, oh, that's the father. But anyways, so this woman, her name is Leslie. And she's like about Nicole Richardson's age, the psychologist, Ted's wife's age, and her daughter Eva. And when we meet Leslie and Eva, they're just kind of like, she's like, they're new to town ish, and like at first you kind of don't know what's up, right? But then Nicole's executive assistant, her assistant, Lauren, I believe, gets run off the road by a motorcyclist, where she crashes, and she now
so
sorry.
It is.
I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
So Lauren gets hurt. She's in the hospital, and she can't do her duties for Nicole. And so Leslie, yes. So it's revealed Leslie comes in from to her house. She takes off the motorcycle helmet, and it's Leslie. And you're like, oh snap, Leslie hurt Nicole's assistant. Okay, what's that for? And Leslie and Eva make friends with Nicole's other assistant, and they get Eva into the executive assistant position temporarily. And once Eva gets the job, Eva and Leslie are talking, and Eva's like, I did it, mama. I got the job, even though she told Nicole that they weren't related. And Leslie's like, good, you deserve all of this. You are gonna worm your way in there. Ted Richardson can never deny you again. It's a whole secret baby angle. And you're like, yes. But Leslie is crazy. Leslie the mom is crazy.
Certified. Told the people her name was Dana. Okay. Dana/Leslie is not a soap opera if you don't have somebody going by 2 names.
I love it. Yeah. And she's like, she's hyping her up, and you just know it. Like, you just know, like, everything she's saying is a lie. She's like, baby, Ted, he never wanted you. He turned your back on you from the moment you were born. And now we're gonna get our revenge. And she's like, I know, mama. Like, you didn't deserve to be treated that way. We're gonna take everything from them. We're gonna make them pay for abandoning us. And I'm like, girl, I feel like he don't know about you.
He don't know you exist. That's all. You're not his child. There's not. This is not a thing.
Like, oh my god, it's so good. And we got to figure out like the Ted and Leslie's timeline, because we find out that like Ted and Nicole had met at a conference again 30 some odd years ago, and they've been together ever since. And Eva falls somewhere around in that time period clearly. So we have to figure out, like, did Ted cheat? What's going on? So
Mm-hmm.
I think
I love that
I
storyline.
think
That's like probably my favorite storyline right now because
I
I'm
think
like,
she
"Ooh,
falls
you
in
crazy."
between the two daughters. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Does
she
she? Yeah,
falls
because
in between the two.
she feels very
I'm not
young.
100. Yeah, but
No, I
she feels
agree.
she's because I remember her being like closer to the younger daughter's age.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That
See,
makes
I'm
sense.
not sure how she is though.
I got a
Yeah,
conspiracy
we don't know
theory
the ages.
about that though. I remember
Okay.
when they're interviewing them because they're like a power couple, and it's just like, tell us about how y'all
Yeah.
met. And they're like, oh, we were at the conference. Do you remember who introduced us? No, I don't remember who introduced us. I was like, I bet I know. I bet it was her. I bet it was Dana. I bet it was Leslie. I bet she's somehow involved. And then she's like, you stole my man. Like I feel like there's something in there because
Ooh,
neither
that's
one
good.
of them remembered who it was. They just kind of like brushed it off like, yeah, I don't remember, but it was just a fairy tale. Like I loved him from the moment I saw him, and I was like,
I like
okay,
that.
all
Good
right.
theory.
What happened at that conference? We need more information about, how this started. But yeah, that's a week of Beyond the Gates.
I love
Honestly,
it.
this is just ridiculous. Like we might just need to keep these conversations going every week just so we can just like
Yeah.
exhale. Like maybe Recap Kickback just becomes the official Beyond the Gates podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
We'll see. Let us know if y'all like it.
fun. Yeah. Go watch Beyond the Gates.
Honestly,
please.
I was kind of thinking that while we were sitting here. I was like, am I gonna have to podcast about Beyond the Gates every week?
Right. Do we have to do a Beyond the Gates check-in like at the end of every episode? Like, okay, and here's our Beyond the Gates corner. Just in case you were wondering, Leslie got a twin, something like that. So this was great. This was so much fun. And
hold on, before you cut it off, I have one thing. I have one leftover thing. What was that? Okay, so actually two things. So back in the day, like in the 80s, if you watched a lot of movies or whatever, most of the time there was the one black character, and or especially on TV or whatever, and they would pop in real fast and say something funny and then come back out. So when the chick, the real estate agent, she just kind of pops in, she just says her lines, and she,
wait. And then
the role playing thing,
lady. Yeah. What
was that? What was that? I didn't understand that.
The real estate agent is at a restaurant, and she's sitting, and this gentleman walks up, and he sits in front of her, right? So now we have a pair of white people in the room. It's crazy. It's only happened like twice in the week that we watched. And so he sits in front of her, and he grabs her thigh, and she's like wearing dark sunglasses, and right as he's like starting to say something to her, Danny walks up, and Danny's like, "Okay, girl, I'm back. Who is this man?" And she's like, nobody. It's just I don't know. This is a friend." And she's like, "Okay, cool." No, she's like, "It's a fan." She's like, "Okay, well, he can go." And I'm thinking, okay, that was weird. Well, then at the wedding, we meet her black husband. I was like, "Oh, yep, there you go, there it is." So yeah, the real estate lady's great. The real estate lady, that's a real one. She was telling the people that house, and the whole time she was lecturing them like, "Wow, you really gonna buy a house in these people's neighborhood after you ruined their life? Wow, that's crazy."
And then she snitched on them. And then
she went directly over there. She's like, "Now look, I couldn't tell you this when I was selling the house because that's not how it worked. But like now that it's sold, they moved down the street. You didn't hear this from me." And then she just left. That was it. Yeah, line.
She's like, I gotta go.
I gotta go get this money. But I just need y'all to know. So yeah, that's a week.
It makes me cackle because it's rare that you see a white person in that role of just I'm a pop in, I'm gonna say some shit.
I'm girl.
Yeah.
She came through quick. Okay. But yes. So that's pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's so much more to talk about in them 5 episodes. We haven't even talked about they damn kids.
We didn't talk about the semi-incest angle.
Yeah, we ain't talked about none of that, and we're not going to because you got to go check out Beyond the Gates. You got to go watch it. We will be talking about this for 3 days, and I'm telling you, it was 5 episodes of television, and not even a complete hour of TV. It's like 42 minutes of TV, and so check it out, and then let us know here in the YouTube comments if you watched Beyond the Gates, if you liked Beyond the Gates. What are your storylines, your favorite characters? Did you find it absurd? Did you feel bad for Danny? Because I definitely felt bad for her. And then, maybe keep us updated. Let us know what you think about Beyond the Gates. Email us at recapkickback@gmail.com and let us know what you think. And then make sure you go and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. recapkickback.com/subscribe and give us a 5-star review and be like, hey, we want more Beyond the Gates talk. Maybe we just check in every month or something like that. Who knows? But until then, Camille, thank you so much for joining us and coming back to talk about soap operas.
No, thank you so much for asking me. This was so much fun, and I would be so mad if I did watch that and I didn't get to have this conversation with people, because I would have so much to say and nobody to say it to. So thank you so much for having me. If you do want to do this more regularly, I'm down. Just let me
Back from the
know.
soap corner. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just thanks for giving me a call. Let me know. I appreciate it.
No. Thank you for being here. And you have some big plans on your YouTube channel that you've been working on. Me and you are always in like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And then per usual, we just be like, okay, we'll come back to it. And then we don't really go. But we got plans. Okay, Camille, tell everybody what you're working on.
What am I working
and where they can find you.
I'll tell you where you can find me. Right now, the Confused playlist, there's 2 channels, but right now the one I'm focusing on is the Confused playlist, because my other one, everything keeps getting blocked on that stupid channel. So yeah, just talk about music or whatever's on my mind at the time. I'm still figuring my life out, so yeah, we'll do that.
Felt that. And Mari, this was fun.
Yes, it's so fun. I always love coming on here every week talking to you, Chappell. We gotta figure out what we're gonna talk about next week.
Beyond the Gates. And I'm joking.
Beyond
the Gates. I'll just do it every week.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go back to our old standby TP, but Tyler Perry got a new movie on Netflix, and I've been hearing some buzz about it. You know, might have to check it out.
There's also another movie. I heard a movie coming out, I think, on Netflix too. There's some stuff, so we'll talk about it. We'll see you guys next week to over on the Recap Kickback. We talk about wherever we want over here, but other than that, hopefully you watched me and Matt Scott over on the Wrestling Kickback this weekend. We had Mo and OD from the Black and Snurdy podcast, as we just caught up with WWE for a little bit. Well, basically we talked about BET. BET put out a list of the 15 greatest Black wrestlers, and it shook everybody up a little bit, like, why is BET commenting on Black wrestlers? So we talked about that, while we also did a Black wrestler bracket over there. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, if you know us, you know who won. So but go and check it out over on the Recap Kickback YouTube channel. Also, me and Sarah Kerding, True Crime Tuesdays over on Crime Scene Pod. You can go to crimescenepod.com. That's crime SEEN pod.com. We just talked to Nicole Horn, aka TikTok Nicole, about Devil in the Family, the Ruby Frankie story, the 3-part docuseries on Hulu about the that Mormon mom who had a family vlog, who ended up like torturing her kids. The docuseries was really good, and the conversation was even better. So definitely go subscribe to Crime Scene wherever you get your podcasts. That was a fun time. Over on Married at First Sight, it's over. Season 18 is over. Me, Jason, and Asia we covered it. It's done. It's over. It was fun. I'm so glad that Asia and Jason had me on for the season. And thank you for your feedback over there. You can find that over on the firstsightpod.com, or over on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. So that's it from me. At Mari Talks Too Much on Blue Sky.
Yeah, that's it. And then since you're on Recap Kickback, you already know this, but we got Abbott Elementary coverage with me and Gia. We got a Brent still coming your way with me and Isaiah and Gia. And then I'm only promoting Recap Kickback stuff on Recap Kickback from now on. So we're just gonna talk about stuff we got coming your way. So much coming. And so you gotta tune in, and you gotta make sure you subscribe. Recapkickback.com/subscribe, or go to our lovely YouTube page, youtube.com/@recapkickback, and hit that thumbs up and subscribe over there as well. But that's it, y'all. For Camille, for Mari, and for myself. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We will see you all next week. Peace. I've been trapped behind Maria. Isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel
goddamn self.